After 3 years at the helm of the Lagos State Judiciary as the Chief Judge of Lagos State, Justice Ayo Phillips can boast of a wall of fame with several awards to her name. Justice Ayo finally took a bow from the bench on Friday, July the 26th, 2014, after attaining the mandatory age of 65 years in service. She tells us about numerous awards and how she feels about them.
You're welcome to the program, Ma. Thank you so much for joining us on Law Weekly on Channels Television. First of all, I want to ask, you were born in London and you came back to Nigeria after your nursery education. What was growing up like for you, Ma?
Well, first of all, it was a terrible culture shock, because I remember crying for about 3 months as I wanted to go back, and being made fun of in school because I couldn't speak Yoruba. And I didn't understand what Pidgin English was. But gradually, as we settled down, we got to love Nigeria. You know, when you're a child, you're very impressionable. So when there's no other alternative, but you have to stay, you stay. And so, you know, we got used to it. It was difficult at first, but you know, inside a year, I think we had settled down.
You want to study law, or were you influenced by your father or your mother? Because I know your father was a lawyer too.
No, my father suggested it. And I use the word suggested advisedly, because when my father suggests something, really, he's telling you what to do. So he suggested that I read law, because I wanted to read history and become a teacher. That's after university. Before then, I wanted to be a secretary. When I left secondary school, I wanted to be a bilingual secretary. But of course, my mother said, don't even bother to talk about that to your dad. So when I did, after HSC, and I passed the HSC, I was surprised I did. And my father said, why don't you read law? And he explained that that's a profession, and that will be with you for the rest of your life. That if you read a general degree, you'll just be a teacher or a lecturer, and you might get fed up of doing that. But law is a very interesting profession as it evolves from day to day. So he suggested to me, and I took the suggestion.
Now, from law school, was your focus the bench? Were you planning to go to the bench right from law school?
When I got pregnant with my first child, I realized that I couldn't really do the two together. So I then applied for, and I was accepted in Lagos State Development. I was employed by Lagos State Development and Property Corporation. And that was a good mix, because I could still practice law within government time, 8 o'clock in the morning to 3:34 in the afternoon. And I did that for about 14 years. Became the secretary legal advisor, which was more administration than legal. I didn't really like it very much. So it's at that point, that was in 1989, that I said, I think I would rather try and become a judge. I couldn't do that from LSDPC, so I transferred to the civil service and worked with the Lagos State Ministry of Justice. And from there, I was appointed a High Court judge.
Now, getting to the bench or getting even to becoming the CJ couldn't have been easy. What were some of the challenges you faced?
Well, in Lagos State, you just wait for your turn. If you're lucky and the judge immediately ahead of you is older than you, definitely you become the chief judge. But if the judge is younger than you in age, you won't become the chief judge, all things being equal. So I just had to wait, and it took me about 18 years of being on the High Court bench till it was my turn to become the chief judge. Well, you know straight away from those that were sworn in with you who's older than you and who's younger than you, because everybody knows everybody else's age. So then you have to decide. If you know you're not going to be chief judge, and you just decide, well, you just try. If you're interested in advancing your career on the bench further, you try to get into the Court of Appeal. But then a very negligible percentage of judges go from the high courts to the Court of Appeal, because you know there's geographical spread and the federal character. So the Southwest, which comprises of all the courts in the Southwest, that is Osun, Ondo, Ogun, Oyo, Ekiti, Lagos, they're all in one Southwest. And if they need 2 judges, all the judges that will vie for those 2 points. So they seem to rotate it. Like if Lagos gets it this time, then maybe Ogun will get it next time. It goes around like that. It's
Right now, you've retired. What do you do? How do you live each day?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Well, I've been going to parties. I've had a couple of parties in my honor. I'm having one this evening, actually. I've traveled. I've been in and out quite a bit. I delivered a lecture abroad for Thomson Reuters. And really, I've just been having a good time. I had a phase when I was waking up very early in the morning at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't get back to sleep. Then I had another phase when I would wake up at 3, go back to sleep, and wake up again at 10:30. I think I'm settling down because I'm waking up at 7 o'clock now, so I think I'm beginning to settle down.
So when you wake up in the morning, what do you do?
What do I do? Well, wake up in the morning, switch on my phone, read Facebook, read my messages on Facebook, read all my messages. I've got about 600 and something friends on Facebook. A lot of them members of staff of the judiciary, and they pray for me, and I say amen to their prayers.
I should look for you on Facebook.
Look for me, yes, you'll find me there. And I upload my pictures on Facebook, the weddings, anything I do, I put it on Facebook. And I sit back and I watch all the comments. I've just been having a good time. I've been taking it very easy. I've been told I'm going to get bored and I'm going to look for something to do. So far, so good. I am not bored yet. I'm still lazing about. In fact, I've become a total layabout. I started cooking again. I haven't cooked for years. So now I can cook my fresh fish the way I like it, as peppery as ever, and eat it all by myself. So I'm really having a good time.
You handed over to your sister. How did that make you feel?
That was good. That was fulfilling. Because it's been on the cards for a long time. And I was very prayerful about it, because when things are like that, I believe you have to be prayerful. And so I was very glad to hand over to her. But then I've treated her as if she's not my sister. Like, I don't intend to interfere in her administration at all. If she asks for advice, I will gladly give it. But I'm not going to volunteer advice. And I'm going to leave her to get to it, because my administration is my administration, and her administration will be her administration. But I do wish her the very best.
Now, some fresh wigs have just been called to the bar. Now, and some of them might want to become judges at some point. What are some of the things they should do from their post-call?
Straight away, go into private practice and start getting the hang of court rule procedure. All of them actually should do that. Whether they want to practice law, become a solicitor, go to a bank, whatever they want to do, I would advise for the first 5 years of your career, get the hang of court procedure. Because when you do retire from the bank or from the insurance company or from wherever you are, you still can go back to court and you can still work. You can work until the end of your life, so far as you're healthy. But if you really want to go to the bench, private practice or the Ministry of Justice, civil service, one of the two.